tonight, investigators are still looking for someone involved in a car crash that killed a WSU student.
And WSU is looking to turn human remains into compost.
Plus, President Donald Trump visits Las Vegas. This is Murrow News 8.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Majestic Storm.
And I'm Irish Concepcion. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
A semi-truck driver involved in a fatal accident that killed a WSU student last week is still missing. The accident took place on Interstate 90 and killed 20-year-old Shandon Pendergast. The original crash took place when a blue pickup truck swerved and flipped into the road. After the initial accident, the semi-truck driver also struck the blue pickup but continued driving east on I-90. A facilities worker at the University of Idaho is recovering after a 2,000-pound cement block fell on his leg. The accident occurred at the university's wood management facility where wood chips are stored before being taken to the steam plant. The man was transported to Gritman Medical Center and the extent of his injuries are still unknown.
After freshman Matthew Gray nearly died falling out of a window in community Duncan Dunn, the safety of the windows in residence halls is something Washington State University is faced with. Shannon Hecht explains that the meeting demands to increase safety of windows is harder than you think.
At the beginning of the school year, President Kirk Scholes promised students his team would be working to make windows on campus safer. Perry Boston, Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, says the university is implementing programs in residence halls to reduce falls.
It's not just the physical window, it's all the elements, training and awareness as a student, being more cognizant of your roles and responsibilities within a residence hall or any place, whether it's balcony, deck, or so forth.
Boston says they hope to have a consultant to oversee the window inspections chosen by the end of the week.
Whoever's chosen as the consultant will have a difficult situation trying to improve the windows as the parents are demanding and following the fire code. The fire code states that any window from the first to third floor must be able to open completely in order for the fire truck ladder to reach it and help someone escape. Anything higher can be limited to just a ventilation window, and the university can't change anything about this.
The Pullman City Fire Marshal says the fire department is working with the university to keep buildings up to code.
So what we'll do is we'll sit with a consultant, find out what his take is on closing off the windows so they don't open on certain floors and making sure that the student has a minimal travel distance to an exit access.
There will be a campus-wide update once the consultant finds some solutions to the window safety issue. Shannon Hecht, Murrow News 8.
Washington State University already has a facility that makes compost out of animal carcasses, but now the university wants to make compost from human remains. Reporter Alfredo Llanos digs deeper into the story.
Scientists at Washington State University are looking at a way that can turn you into soil. The Urban Death Project is an alternative to burials and cremations that turns human remains into compost. The project received approval from the state and county's health departments. The Department of Ecology has also approved modifications to a permit allowing the project to move forward.
And this compost facility has the potential to release certain types of pollution that we regulate, so it requires an air quality permit from the Department of Ecology.
The WSU compost facility behind me already composts dead animal carcasses. However, they recently just got a permit approved that would allow them to turn their large composting chamber into 3 smaller separate ones, and now would allow all human testings to be separated from all other composting projects. The project still needs approval from several WSU scientific committees, including the Dean of Honors and the WSU Vice President of Research, who must review all legal and ethical issues. We made multiple attempts to contact members of the project's technical advisory team, but they refused to answer. We'll keep you updated. Alfredo Llanos, Murrow News 8.
Congressional candidate Lisa Brown is getting backlash after allowing WSU-related imagery to appear in her campaign ad to announce her candidacy. Using images of the Spokane campus and the WSU flag are violations of the state's campaign guidelines, and the Republican Party is accusing Brown of using state resources on her campaign while she was still a university employee. The video has since been replaced.
Former offensive lineman Riley Sorensen is celebrating the defeat of cancer for the second time. Sorensen's girlfriend posted on Twitter that his cancer is in remission again. Sorensen announced in July that his cancer had returned, this time in his back, and that he had to immediately undergo chemotherapy. Sorensen previously defeated testicular cancer.
After the break, Coffee with a Cop comes to Pullman for the first time.
And President Trump and the First Lady meet the survivors of the Las Vegas shooting.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. School's out for summer. School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's
what this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place.
School's out for summer.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Police are putting effort into making a nationally known event an occasional friendly gathering for Pullman locals. I joined members of the Pullman community to share coffee with a cop. On a chilly morning in a fast food restaurant, a few members of the Pullman community bonded over hot coffee, an event called Coffee with the Cop, which originated in Hawthorne, California, and is now in several locations across the United States.
It's a national organization or movement, but this is the first time that Pullman's hosted one. McDonald's was kindly enough to host us here, and we're excited to get out and talk to the community.
Officer Whitman says that Coffee with a Cop gives people a chance to understand that there is a human side of policing that involves members of the police force being just like any other friend or neighbor.
There's not much of a turnout of people my age, but especially in Pullman with a majority of the population being college-age students, this is a great opportunity for students to create a bond with the men and women of our police force.
Despite the minimal participation of young adults, college students are fond of the concept of Coffee with a Cop.
Free coffee is definitely something that every college student wants. People tend to have a kind of a fear for in front of police just because of all the stuff you hear on the news. So it'd be kind of good to have a good connection with cops like around campus or in Pullman.
Some feel this a great way to bridge that gap.
I think it's a really great way to kind of bring two different communities as one and kind of interact and bring back that unity with between the cops and the actual young students and just people in general.
Irish Concepcion, Murrow News 8.
President Trump and the First Lady visited Las Vegas days after America's worst mass shooting in modern history. The two met with survivors and doctors at the Trauma Center in Las Vegas. The president praised first responders for their selflessness and the bravery that they showed to help the most vulnerable during an unforgettable scene. When asked about gun control, President Trump said, "We're not going to talk about that today." Before departing from Las Vegas, President Trump assured Nevada, the victims' families, and survivors that they were not alone and that they will never be alone.
The National Rifle Association says it is open to additional regulations on bump stocks. A bump stock is what allowed the Las Vegas shooter to turn his rifles into an automatic weapon. This announcement comes after several top Republicans came out in support of the regulations, but none of the Republicans have signed on to co-sponsor the bill that was proposed by Democrats earlier this week. The White House also says it wants to be part of the process and will be involved in hearings. This weekend, we might see rain, but it should clear up starting Monday.
When we come back, Nick Bartlett will give you the full forecast.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
It's been sunny and kind of warm this week.
But this weekend, that nice weather is coming to an end. Nick, what can we expect for the weather on our days off?
Well, today it's actually a little bit sunny out, about 54 degrees, a little bit nicer. As we shift over to tomorrow's weather, it's going to be a little bit warmer, approximately around 57 degrees, a little bit cooler at the nighttime as well. And as we look at the state map over here, so the state map, we have Pullman at 63 degrees, we have Wenatchee at 72, and that's going to be our high on the east side of the state. Spokane is also 69 degrees. And as we step over to the west side, it's going to be, as we get to our 5-day outlook here, on Saturday it's going to be 58 degrees, 56 degrees on Sunday. It's going to stay approximately around that temperature the rest of the week. It should be a little bit chillier at night. You might want to grab some jackets. It's getting a little bit more towards the freezing temperatures. So grab your jackets and stay warm.
It's only October, but Santa Claus has already became news after archaeologists claim to have found his tomb. We'll tell you where they found it after the break.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing.
Wow! I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark.
That was awesome! Let's go again.
3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
The yogurt company Dannon is no longer sponsoring NFL quarterback Cam Newton. Newton was on the face of Oiko's Greek yogurt until he made an uh-oh comment during a press conference. Women's sports reporter Jordan Rodriguez asks Newton about one of his teammates. Newton then responds, "It's funny to hear a woman talk about routes." Dannon's senior director noted Newton's comment as sexist and degrading towards women.
Santa Claus is real. And if he sees us when we're sleeping and he knows when we're awake, does that mean he knows archaeologists went on a mission to find his tomb? Turkish archaeologists are pretty sure they found his tomb, located in burial grounds underneath the St. Nicholas Church in the Antalya, Turkey. Now the scientists have the challenge of verifying if the owner of the tomb is really the jolly old elf.
I can't wait until Christmas.
I can't either. I know it's like Halloween, but
I know we're wearing the Christmas colors.
I know, and it wasn't.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Watch us every night at 7 and 10 for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter. Good night, Pullman.